last one from us, which is, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this one. We are now exactly 7 days away from, in my mind, the most anticipated title fight in recent memory. And like the Jones and Silgan fight, this fight has a plethora of questions heading into it. And the main one, I think, by the media and everyone else is, how will Volk negate Islam's wrestling? And your essay piece on Volk that you posted last week actually gave me goosebumps. That's how good it was, because he is just that guy who wasn't on anyone's radar. He wasn't the blue chip prospect, but he is, however, the definition in my mind of what hard work can accomplish. What for you makes this fight so exciting, and what are your thoughts on the fight itself?
Gosh, man, I mean, you set it up beautifully. You're giving me chills. Where do I even begin? Like, how much time do we have left, right? As far as Islam Makachev is concerned, I'm not sure, and I've said this before, that any fighter has had as much expectation or pressure to become a UFC champion as he has had. Yep. You know, even before Khabib Nurmagomedov was the man, you heard Abdulmanap and people at American Kickboxing Academy say, you know, when Khabib's done, it's going to be Islam's turn. So the fact that he was able to respond to that pressure and win 10 consecutive fights and ultimately submit Charles Oliveira and win the title doesn't get celebrated enough, right? Mm-hmm. But it does fly in the face of a lot of Alexander Volkanovski and the way he came in, because even though he was heralded because of the winning streak, and as we were putting that essay together, at times I was thinking maybe this doesn't quite give him the credit, right? Because even though he wasn't the blue chip prospect, you could be sure we knew acutely who Alexander Volkanovski was when he made his UFC debut. But the forecast wasn't necessarily championship. You know, people think that he was this 5-star, 5-tool, true plus athlete that we know him to be right now. And it's exciting for me that he's getting this opportunity, and he made sure that he was the guy, right? Put himself in the position for promotion more than once as a backup, right? To try to chase this dream. And I think it's happening at a much better time for him than Izzy. You know, Izzy kind of seemed like there was some reluctance when he was fighting Jan Blachowicz, almost as if it was, you know, Eugene Behrman's idea more than it was his. I think it's happening on the perfect timeline for Alexander Volkanovski. And what's most amazing to me about Volkanovski's legacy is that we talk so much about the greatest of all time. And we touch on this in the essay too, right? But I'm not sure the GOAT conversation within a division has been more competitive than it is at featherweight, where it has always been this three-headed race, or at least recently with Jose Aldo, Max Holloway, and Alexander Volkanovski. And the fact that Volkanovski has essentially closed up that conversation for most of us is insane. Like, if you would have told me after I was walking out of Max Holloway, Calvin Kattar, you know, a couple of years ago, right? Yeah. Alexander Volkanovski a couple of years later would have closed the book on greatest featherweight of all time before Jose Aldo can even get his fucking Hall of Fame jacket. It's absolutely amazing. So when people like Daniel Cormier suggest that this would be the biggest upset in UFC history, now I understand Makachev's greatness, right? But this wouldn't even be close to that. This wouldn't be a top 50 or top 100 UFC upset of all time. You're talking about one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. How does he hold up to the strength and physicality, guys? I really don't know. But I think Chael Sonnen put it best, and we reiterated this on our podcast. You know, if Islam Makhachev goes in there and outstrikes Volkanovski for a considerable duration, or out-grapples or out-wrestles him, this will really be the first time that we see somebody go in there and dominate Alexander Volkanovski in any realm of mixed martial arts. So, you know, I'm glad I have a front row seat for it. We'll see what happens here in a week's time.